Hello everyone and welcome to Fixing Disney Star Wars. This is the 5th episode in our commentary series for the closure cut of the Rise of Skywalker, and we're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us as we attempt to build a better episode 9. Please subscribe and like our videos so that we can place higher in the YouTube algorithm, and please let us know what you did like or didn't like about episode 9. If you like our work, please consider joining our Subscribe Star. Subscribe Star is a membership platform similar to Patreon, and it respects a creator's freedom of speech and expression. As a team, we strive to support platforms that support basic human freedoms, like Subscribe Star. We post exclusive content, new videos, new commentary, VFX tests, and more, all on our Subscribe Star, and all funds raised via Subscribe Star go directly to funding our edits. We don't keep anything for ourselves, so if you're interested in helping us, the link is in the description. And now, with the intro out of the way, let's get to the commentary. We begin this week with a sequence where Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewie, and C-3PO arrive on Pasaana. In the original cut, we see the group walking through a number of locals doing a traditional dance when Rey says, quote, "I've never seen anything like this." Finn responds with, "I've never seen so few wayfinders." All of this has been deleted. Firstly, Rey's line here again indicates her naivety and lack of experience. It's almost as if J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio wrote her character as if she were still the girl from Jakku. But she isn't, though. She's been away for over a year now, and she's experienced a lot that she would never experience on Jakku. The whole wide-eyed fish out of water angle worked in the character's favor in episode 7, but after a year's passage of time, it doesn't work so much. Also, naivety is associated with her innocence, but we're trying to illustrate in this film that she isn't as innocent as people think she is. Her character goes to a darker place in this cut, and so it's important that we remove the glimpses of innocence from her character as the film progresses. Finn's line here is removed because he's talking about wayfinders, but we don't call the devices wayfinders, they're called holocrons in our cut. Unfortunately, we have yet to find a fitting voice act for Finn, so we can't redub this line. Our next edit here occurs during the Force Skype bond between Rey and Kylo Ren. In the original cut of episode 9, Ren says, "Palpatine wants you dead." This line is problematic because Palpatine's motivations in the film vary widely in the original cut. Maybe he wants Rey dead, but maybe he doesn't, and we don't really know. In our edit, Palpatine wants Rey alive. He knows who she is, where she comes from, and he's watched her grow in the Force from a distance. He wants her alive. Both Rey and Ren provide a means to an end for Palpatine, and that's the narrative we're going with in this cut. So, in our edit, instead of saying the original line, Ren now says to Rey, quote, "The Emperor has quite the interest in you." And this is a true statement. He does have an interest in her. Ren continues his dialogue, indicating he has other plans apart from Palpatine's. For us, this makes more narrative sense, and so it's what we've gone with for this scene. In the same Force Skype sequence, Kylo Ren says, "I'm going to find you and I'm going to turn you to the dark side. And when I offer you my hand again, you'll take it." Rey responds with, quote, "We'll see," and an aggressive facial response. Ren then pulls the necklace off of Rey's neck. Rey's response here has been removed, and the reason for this removal is that, with the line gone, Kylo Ren now appears to be more intimidating both for Rey and the audience as well. Additionally, it makes Rey seem more vulnerable, which is necessary for this specific edit of episode 9. Right after the Force Skype sequence ends, we're treated to a scene where an unnamed First Order officer can be seen walking down a hallway on a First Order destroyer. And the officer says, "Sir, we have this analyzed. It comes from the Midian system, Pasaana, Forbidden Valley." In our edit, we simply see the First Order officer walking down the hall to Kylo Ren. She says, "It comes from the Midian system, Pasaana, Forbidden Valley." We've removed the quote, "Sir, we have this analyzed" line because this can clearly and obviously, and should be, assumed from the context of the scene. And this is yet another case of the film thinking the audience is dumb, but we're smarter than Disney gives us credit for. Moving along, we come to the scene where the group meets an unidentified stranger who brings them into a transport. When the stranger takes the helmet off, we see that it is Lando Calrissian. In the original cut, after Lando hugs Chewie, 3PO says, "This is General Lando Calrissian," and we've removed this line. The dialogue here is clearly intended to be an exposition for new people to Star Wars, or for those who have only maybe seen the prequel or sequel trilogy. But, as Rey says here, They know who he is. As such, there's no use for 3PO to tell us who he is because Poe immediately calls him General Calrissian. In other words, C-3PO's line here has become redundant. In the same sequence, Lando activates a hologram on his wrist. Lando says only two remain, and Rey responds with a Sith Wayfinder. We've removed Rey's line here again because we're calling it a holocron in our cut. In our edit, Lando says only two were made, and Rey responds with, Luke Skywalker came here to find one. As the scene continues, the hologram changes and displays the head of an alien. Here, Lando says Ochi of Bestoon. He was carrying a clue that could lead to a wayfinder. We followed a ship halfway across the galaxy. Here. When we got to a ship, it was abandoned. No clue, no wayfinder. And then Rey then asks if Ochi's ship is still here. These lines have been edited quite a bit. In our edit, Lando says Ochi of Bestoon. We followed his ship halfway across the galaxy here. When we got to a ship, it was abandoned. The reason for these edits is firstly, we're calling it a holocron, not a wayfinder. And second, the whole idea of a clue is a bit hokey. They don't want to talk about the clue, how they got it, or where it came from. It's just a convenient plot device. But in our edit, we're simply leaving it a little vague. Luke and Lando are tailing a Jedi killer to find a holocron, they find his ship marooned, and there's nothing of value that they can find in the ship, so they go about their business. No need for a clue plot device. Coming to the end of the sequence with Lando on Pasaana, Lando asks Rey for a favor, saying, quote, give Leia my love, and Rey responds with, quote, you should give it to her yourself. And there's a pause, and then Rey says thank you. In our edit of the film, Rey's you should give it to her yourself line has been removed, because it's actually quite the rude thing for Rey to say to a hero of the rebellion, one who's just saved their lives and helped them. There's a number of reasons why many fans don't like Rey, and one of them is due to how she interacts with people. She can be quite unpleasant and full of herself, which makes her hard to root for or care about. Anakin also had these same qualities, but he also wasn't presented as infallible, perfect, or incapable of doing wrong. Rey is, so these snarky comments don't fit well. By giving her character flaws and an arc, we hope to remedy that. Now, the scene plays as Lando telling Rey to give Leia his love, and Rey thanking him for his time. By being more pleasant, Rey is a little more likable, which means the audience will now sympathize her a little more once the revelation that she killed her parents comes into play. Moving on, we come to the scene where the group steals a speeder as they're being tracked by the First Order. To steal the speeder, Poe hotwires some of its cables, and when he does, Finn asks, how do you know how to do that? Finn's line here has been removed. When being chased by people bent on killing or injuring you, usually the last thing on your mind are the specifics of how you're getting away. You just try to get away as best as you can. So Finn's line here is of little consequence, and nor is it needed. And secondly, we find out about Poe's spice running days later on in the film, so it's easy to assume that he probably obtained a number of criminal skills during that time in his life. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode of the commentary on the Closure Cut. We hope to see you next week, where we'll continue going through the rest of the Rise of Skywalker. What did you like about episode 9, and what did you dislike about it? As always, please be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment below. Until next time, may the Force be with you.